Okay, so bipolar mania, when someone is described as being manic, what is that and what isn't that? First, what it isn't. Uh, a lot of people, especially women, are referred to as being bipolar if they have a normal mood swing, if they're moody, if they change their mind about something, if they just do something that a man cannot understand. He calls, they're called bipolar. That's not bipolar. Uh, Having mood swings in the normal range is part of human emotion and experience. And feeling feeling things, feeling depressed, feeling happy, feeling elated, feeling all these things are part of our experience, and those are normal. So that is not bipolar. What it is going from extremes. So if the normal range of human emotion goes from, and this is how I describe it all the time, from 0 to 10. So 0 is as low as you're going to feel, and 10 is as happy as you're going to feel. If you're bipolar, you do not have a floor and you do not have a ceiling. And I honestly cannot tell you which one is more terrifying. To go so far and so deep and you keep falling down that uh, dark well that literally has no end in sight, or to be so elated, so wound up, racing faster than you can even keep a hold of yourself. I don't know which one's worse. I used to think the depression was worse. Now I think the mania is worse. So there's two forms of bipolar mania that is called mania and hypomania or hypomanic. Hypo is the less severe. Doesn't mean it is not affecting your life. It's just less severe. And then the mania is full-blown chaos. So there are actually some benefits to, let's go inside. There are actually some benefits to being manic, and because of that, a lot of people do not want to take their medication. And because of that, a lot of people stop taking their medication once they get on it and they are no longer experiencing the mania. They stop taking it. A lot of those people land themselves in the psychiatric ward, and I've met several of them. Many bipolar people in the psychiatric ward are in there because they stopped taking their medications. But the benefit is you do not need any sleep. And when I say you do not need any sleep, I mean for a week or longer, you're not sleeping at all, or maybe 1 or 2 hours, and I'm not kidding you, and you are not tired. You have so much energy. You're getting everything done. You're organizing your basement. You're trimming your lawn with scissors. Every dish is organized in your cabinets, not only just washed, but organized, and the designs are facing all to the front. Your floors, you normally would mop them, and you're on your hands and knees scrubbing them, and with a scraper. Your house is spotless. All of your laundry is done. Your closet is, everything is straight in your closet. So you have tons of energy to get all this stuff done. And you're racing. Your mind is racing. So that means you have ideas. You're creative. You're feeling super confident, overly confident. So those are just some of the benefits. Actually, I've read in several places that there's people throughout history that have done amazing things that would probably today be described as bipolar because they were extremely creative and they did not need any sleep and they never ever stopped. I mean, they stopped during that depression time, but besides that, the mania, and there is a benefit to it. So with bipolar, and maybe I already said this, a lot of people can understand that there's a depressive part of it. A lot of people don't understand what mania is and how it just makes life so freaking unbearable. I honestly do think at this point in my life that the mania is worse. I'd rather have 4 weeks of excruciating depression over 4 weeks of mania. So some of the things that I've experienced in my mania, and it has evolved over time, I really started experiencing the full spectrum of my bipolar disorder in my early 20s. So some of the things that would happen to me is I would get really bad night terrors. And when I say night terrors, I am not talking about a normal nightmare. I am talking about waking up so terrorized that I felt that something was in my room, that I would not go back to sleep, or it would take me at least an hour. My husband at the time would have to take me out of the house and drive me around in the middle of the night. I could not snap out of that terror. That was induced by stress, but that was also part of becoming manic. Another characteristic is being a risk taker, which can be good, but not when it's in sickness. So you are doing things that are going to damage and hurt yourself, but it's like you just don't care. And just the recklessness. I got pretty involved in drugs and alcohol, and it's very normal for people that are bipolar to self-medicate, and especially to turn to alcohol to try to manage what they are experiencing. I've gone, I think the longest was 6 weeks without sleep. And I mean, when I say without sleep, maybe 1 to 3 at most hours at a time. My last really bad manic episode, I was hallucinating and I was paranoid. I had not slept and my doctor could not bring me down. And I don't know how I was functioning and working. I was missing part days, if not full days. I was so wound, so tight. My mind was racing so fast that I felt like I was looking backward to see what I had just said, because I had no control and no idea what was even coming out of my mouth. My mind was racing that fast. I was having dissociations where I felt I was separated from my body and that I was outside of my body and that I wasn't a real person, and that something was going to come inside of my hollow, empty body because there was nothing there. You get like these physical sensations where your skin is crawling. Anybody that brushes you or touches you, it's so uncomfortable and just irritates you. Super high irritability. Also, another characteristic of bipolar is hypersexuality. So that has caused me a lot of problems, and I put myself in a lot of compromising situations. So there's just no reasoning with yourself when you are in that state. It is dangerous. People go and spend tons of money. They drive their car like 120 miles an hour. They, are just doing things they wouldn't normally do because you're erratic. And so, being bipolar, I'm not actually on antidepressants. A lot of research shows that they aggravate the mania. So you find if you can control and manage the mania, that is way more important. So I'm not on antidepressants. I'm on mood stabilizers and antipsychotics. And so the mood stabilizers, I still experience my disorder, but it's more manageable, and I am more aware that it's happening. And I've lived years without the medication and years with it, and yeah, being on medication has its downfalls. I mean, for one, weight gain. At this point, I really don't care about that. But, just no one wants to be on medication every day, and there's such a stigma to it. You should be able to control yourself, or you should, how many times people have told me, you should just exercise more, and you could control your disorder, or they don't even believe it's a disorder. It's just a problem in my head, which, yeah, it is in my head, but I cannot control it. It is a real diagnosed health condition, which is hard to live with because there is a stigma. It affects my daily life. It is hard to function, which the effort a normal person would take to do something. It's taking me quite a bit more effort to do that, to hold a job. I don't know how I've been able to hold a job. A lot of people cannot. I don't know. I wonder if I'll always be able to. But that's a little about mania. And it's terrible. Do I ever miss it? Once in a while, because I definitely, my house was cleaner when I was not medicated. But the terror of where those highs and lows can go is enough for me to stay on my medication.